Good morning. Okay, I definitely feel better today, more energized. Head is not hurting as much, so I think we are good. We are getting better. But I'm still gonna take it easy and not rush into doing all the things. But what I actually do want to talk to you about today, so there are going to be moments like where you will find yourself that you are looking at what is there not enough of, or like what is missing, what is not working. And especially when it comes around money, just because of like the current state of our, like, some of you, like in your external environment, you may be seeing a lot of things of what's happening that there is a lack of, right? Like between like the stock market, the prices of gas, the prices of groceries, and how everything has now like gone up in price. And there kind of sometimes can come up these, because if we witness all these things in our external reality, and then also what's happening in your internal reality, like what's happening in like on your bank account, what's happening in your home, what's all these things sometimes can challenge us in terms of like thinking in a state of abundance or in a state of lack. And know that it is okay if you like sometimes like dip your toes back into lack. Because every time you do, you're meant to learn something. Every time you go from abundance to lack, you're meant to like kind of look at something different. Like why are you looking at what there's not enough of? Why are you looking at the things that are not working? Why are you looking at, all those things? And sometimes when we are in a state of lack, it's really hard to tap into abundance, like going from one extreme to another, because our mind, it's just like our mind is like tricky like that. It's very hard to go from 0 to 100 when we feel like that we are in this state of lack, that there's not enough, and being in that space, like we are not able to see what's actually working. And so the way I kind of like work with this is that like I acknowledge like where I'm at, and instead of focusing on the things that make me feel like I'm in lack or that there's not enough. So like, for example, like if I feel like my bank account is not at a number I want it to be, I'm not going to look at that bank account and try and convince myself otherwise. I'm not going to look at it and be like, oh, I'm grateful for this like $20, or oh, I'm grateful for this like $50 that's in there. Like, because if I don't believe it, if I don't feel like I'm grateful for it, then I won't be able to get my energy behind that gratitude. Now, there are some of you that can tap into that. I'm not saying that won't work for you. If you find that you can look at your bank account, even if it's at a number that you don't really like, but you can find the gratitude in it, by all means, go for it. But for me, like looking at my bank account, and if it's at a number I'm not happy about, or I don't feel abundant around it, then I can't get behind it. I can't energetically get behind it. So what I do instead is I look at all the areas that I am abundant. So I look at everything that is working. I look at ways I am receiving money. So that is kind of like what I did, is like I just made a list, and I'm like, what have I received in the past 2 weeks? From gifts, support, guidance, like people buying me a drink, for example. Anything of that. So like really kind of getting yourself in this place of like, what have you received so far, and what is working? Like where are you abundant in your life? Where can you look at your life and feel like, ooh, that area feels abundant? Like maybe it's opening up your fridge and seeing all the food in your fridge, and you're like, wow, I have an abundance of food. Like maybe that's where you feel abundant. If it's not in your bank account, it could be there. If it's not there, maybe you look at your gas tank. If your gas tank is full, then you can get behind the I feel abundant because my gas tank is full. So it's focusing on the areas where you feel abundance, focusing on the areas that you do have enough, that you have more than enough. And then from there, that's how it ripples out into other areas of your life. And so then you will notice the shift of maybe, the areas you didn't feel abundant all of a sudden becomes more abundant. And so it is all about mindset, and it is all about training the mind to look at what's working, training the mind to look at what feels good instead of what's not working. Because I find that when we focus on what's not working, it amplifies, and then we think that everything in life isn't working, right? So it's like really like retraining that and looking at, okay, what is working, and let's amplify that. Like, let's compound that. Like, let's make that bigger instead of the what's not working. There's always going to be things in life that is not working. There's always going to be things that fall apart. There's always going to be things that, you know, like trigger us. There's going to be things that, you know, like we're going to hit certain rock bottoms in certain areas in life. Like at some point it happens, because they're all lessons and they're all there to teach us something and for us to learn and grow. But if we keep focusing on all that, then we're not creating room for the things that are working. We're not creating room for the abundance. We're not creating room for the good times, for the happy times. So yeah, so doing this exercise of like, the question I have like really on top here is like, what is abundant now? Like, what is abundant now in my life? So what is abundant now in your life? And focus on that. Focus on like, did you receive any gifts? Did anybody buy you a drink? Did you get any gift cards? Did somebody help you, like, give you guidance for something? Like, did somebody give you some advice that you needed to hear? Did, you know, like, is your fridge full? Like, is your gas tank full? Did you find something on sale and you were able to get it because it's been something you've wanted for so long? Like, where is it that, where's the abundance in your life now? And focus on that. And then the rest will work itself out. So just trust yourself. And yeah, that is kind of what I wanted to share with you today, just because I am doing this right now. I am kind of working on this now. So thought it will be helpful to show you what I work on and how I navigate through moments where I do feel like there's a lack of, or through moments where I don't necessarily feel abundant. And know that you always have a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice if you choose lack or if you choose abundance, but they both coexist on the same plane. They both coexist in the same reality. So this is where you get to choose. So choosing abundance is simply as like looking at what is abundant in your life now. And so that is what I want to share with you today. This is day 346. That means 19 lives to go in my 365 days live, which is crazy. If you want me to talk about something specific, if there's something that interests you that you love to hear, whatever it may be, like put it in the comments or send me a DM. I am kind of like, I have always ideas of things to talk about, but I did receive like so far like 2 invitations of like what to talk about, because people want to hear about that. So let me know, and I will speak to you all tomorrow, obviously.